So this is my first iPad tutorial. I'm not going to start off with our usual introduction. We're going to get straight into it today. I thought this could be a really fun way for you to try something like this if you've got an iPad at home. I usually quite like a high resolution square image, that way I can post it directly to Instagram. Now I'm going to go through and select some of the brushes that we're going to copy and put into a new file. I'm going to start with the luminescence section, and I'm going to choose that one that I'd like to duplicate, and I'm going to pop it into a new folder so that we've got them all in one place. I'm now going to drop the brushes that I'm going to be using into that folder so that I can edit them the way that I'd like. Now, if you've ever seen the alcohol ink, it's got like a really thick border and then it's really thin or opaque down the middle. So I've chosen brushes that are going to give me that effect. I'm then going to edit them with you, and we're going to create something that works for alcohol ink. So let's get those into the folder and then let's start editing them. The first one we're going to edit is this rainbow one. We don't want it to be rainbow, so we're going to change the hue, and we're also going to make the edges a lot thicker and darker. That way when we're blending the colors together, you can definitely see the outline of kind of that organic outline of the alcohol ink that we're going to be creating. You can follow along, you can slow down the video, and you can see which aspects of that brush I have changed to kind of create that thick outline. The next one we're going to take is the luminescence one, and we're just going to make it a little more opaque and a little brighter. You can follow along again. It's pretty straightforward, but kind of noodle with it until it looks about right, or until it looks like it's sitting where you'd like it to kind of sit and glide. Okay, we're kind of ready to go, and I'm going to start off with a rainbow and use that thick outline one. I'm going to overlap the lines a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit, so there's a bit of white in between, and then I'm going to go through the rainbow colors to kind of create a really pretty effect. Once we have all of the colors down, we're going to use the liquify effect, and we're going to use the edge tool. You can use the same settings that I have, and I'm just pulling the line away from where it currently sits. You can see that it kind of adds a little bit of a blur on the edge of the line, and if we use the pencil over the lines in the center, it pulls the colors together. Now I'm going to use this quite haphazardly over the top, and we're going to pull some lines together and some lines apart. Once I'm happy with it, I'm going to take the push liquify tool, and we're going to start making kind of little circles of color. You'll see as we go, some circles are bigger than others. We want it to look as natural as possible, because when you use alcohol ink or alcohol dye, the colors bloof out quite a bit, and they're really super fun to blend. Now this is going to be our base layer. We're going to put another layer over this as we go, but for now we're going to keep just editing it as we go, just to give it that real kind of organic feel for the bottom layer. Alright, we're going to use the thicker color for layer number 2. You can see that I'm not making the colors too complete. I want a little bit of white in the middle, so that way you can still see the colors. I'm using the same colors I used at the bottom. And now I'm going to use the expand liquify effect, and I'm kind of going to blend those colors together with the liquify effect. You can see it starts creating a pool and kind of a white thing, kind of like a whitey kind of blob in the middle. And then I'm going to use the push tool, and I'm going to push them towards each other and in the same direction as the bottom layer. Once I'm happy with the shapes that they have, I'm going to include the multiply layer effect on that particular layer and just see how it sits over the bottom foundation color and see if it looks right. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to add a bit more color as well. Okay, we're on to our last layer, and this time it is the luminescence layer, and this is going to be the layer that kind of creates the white vibe. You'll see that it is a lot whiter, but it has kind of like a purpley outline, or the color that you've selected outline. And like this one here, you can see it's almost neon, but that's fantastic because we want the white and we want the dark outline, because again that creates a same or similar effect to how it would look if you're doing physical alcohol inking. So I'm just following the lines very organically, I'm not putting any thought to it. And now again I'm going to use the expand tool, and I'm going to do the same thing I just did for the lower layer, and I'm going to start blending those around. I'm going to make sure that I'm expanding, I'm going to make sure that I'm using the edge tool, and I'm going to use all those kind of liquify tools to really blend those colors together on the top. So our top layer is going to be the layer that is also going to be multiplied, and we're going to make sure that we layer it over the top so that it looks really natural as well. You'll see I resize them a little bit, and then I also, once I've multiplied it, I'm also going to mix the colors a bit more as well so I can see where the colors sit on top of the layers below. Once I'm happy with all my layers, I'm going to merge them down, and then I've got a final image that I'm happy with. Now we're going to do this again, but this time we're going to do it just with circles, and we're going to expand the circles quite a bit in the same way that we just used previously. You can create a beautiful lettering over the top. I love using black over the top because it really brings out the colors below. This time we're going to start with that circle rather than lines, and we're going to add a circle on top of that as well. We're not layering, we're just using the same brush, and we're going to put those over the top. Now if you want this brush set, I will add it as a downloadable option in the comments below, just so that you don't have to noodle around with the tools in your Procreate. You can just download it and go. You'll see that again I'm using the expand tool in the liquify section, really simple, and I'm just creating a big blob in the center. As we go on, you'll see I start adding a couple of other extra colors and then start kind of smushing the blobs together to make 3 beautifully colored blobs. Again, we're going to add a second layer over the top. We're going to move those around much like if they were real liquid, and then we're going to add it as a multiply layer so that you can see the layers underneath. I love that it brings out the real vibrancy of the layers, and I think it makes a really beautiful effect in the long run as well. I think that the luminescence pen in here just makes it look really fun and really vibey. As always, thank you so much for joining us. I had so much fun doing this spread, and I'm looking forward to adding a whole bunch more into it. I'm going to be adding Myers-Briggs and a variety of other personality traits into it, so follow along to see how that turns out. See you next time.